I just wanted to respond to the video by the atheist Christian. I thought it was genius, actually, and the reason why is because he's absolutely right. You know, anyone who claims to be a Christian, there really is no middle ground. That's actually how I've been freed into being an atheist, because I actually discovered that my actions betrayed my true beliefs, which is that I didn't believe it. I don't believe that God, a sky God, sent down, his son to die for sins, of people who had no connection with the original creatures who started this sin. Whatever, you know what I mean? It's but I've devoted and probably wasted a lot of my life. Well, I won't say wasted, but I definitely would have spent a lot of time trying to force myself to swallow these crazy beliefs. But I love this interview because he's so respectful, and everything he says is bang on. I don't believe you can claim to be a true Christian unless you take action, and actively go out and carry this message to others, It's having far-reaching effects for me coming to this place. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful to not have to force my brain to believe things that are actually really stupid. But the thing is that recently I've been made aware of brain research that would explain people like me, people who believe these supernatural stories that should just be kept in libraries or museums, Anyways, this is actually my first YouTube posting, and I probably should have gotten dressed and attempted to brush my hair or do something along those lines, but I just found this to be such an interesting video. It's very curious. As you're watching it, you expect this guy to be a Christian, I just thought it was hilarious that he's actually an atheist. Good example, because I would have been a bit of I never would have been a good fundamentalist Christian. I have to say, I really was never that Bible thumpy. Not really. I kind of messed with a few people, friends. I'd sort of test it out and challenge it and stuff like that. But it was all based on emotion, The funniest thing is that I actually love Christian music, Christian rock. There's some really good songs. Right? Although South Park did a pretty good episode on that. Jesus, I love you. Like just taking old romantic songs and just like substituting the word Jesus for some of your romantic interests and stuff like that. Like it's very funny, But on a more serious note, I feel that this is a very practical course of action to attack moderates because they don't believe it. My firm belief is that they really don't believe this. It's just due to circumstance. If you're born into the Catholic faith, like my family is totally all Catholic, it becomes a social thing, of course. Weddings, christenings, funerals, Sundays, your parents go to mass, like all these types of things, it can cause a lot of rifts within, and even the people that are going to mass and stuff. I mean, I honestly know so many people who I don't believe anything they claim to believe, really, and they're never really challenged on it, right? Nobody ever really looks them in the face and says, okay, let's actually talk about the consequences of your belief. Like, do you really believe that when you eat the Eucharist that you are ingesting the body of Jesus Christ? Like, are you drinking his blood? Is this a cannibalistic ritual that we engage in here? Like, there's no way you can deny that kind of stuff. I mean, that's just part of the doctrine, the dogma, whatever, tradition, right? So, anyways, the funniest part about all, well, I don't know if it's funny, but what is a little bit hilarious is that I am also currently studying theology. And I started studying it when I sort of pushed myself. I was like, if I believe it, then I should be really walking my talk, So I thought that engaging in study would really I'm not sure. Like, my hair looks funny. I'm not really sure what I would expect to gain from this, but I certainly never believed that I would become an atheist like within my first year. But like the evidence is so, there's just so little evidence for even the existence of this person, Jesus Christ. You know, it's actually pretty frightening when you really start to look at what is available as evidence, what they call evidence. It's pretty bad. So anyways, where do we go from here, you know? So my current interest would really lie in the area of neurotheology. And it's basically the study of the brain, you know, starting to explain why physically, you know, certain brains would have this setup for seeking, how would I articulate this really? It's actually seeking a mystical experience, you know. It was sort of religious experience basically, but it's been wrongly attributed to some power outside of ourselves, when the truth is that it's all in our heads. It's in the brain, you know. And there is evidence to support this, you know. And of course I'm nowhere near being able to lay it out in front of you or whatever, but I hope to be in years to come. So I guess nothing is wasted time. I mean, I'm very fortunate in that I'm a woman living in a, you know, free country to where I can do whatever the hell I want basically, and nobody really cares, you know. I'm not gonna end up getting stoned to death or have my head cut off, or, you know, like the poor women in Afghanistan. No one's gonna like paint my windows black and not, you know, leave me in my house. And I guess that's why I'm really hoping that a lot of us will start to speak more to moderates and start to challenge moderate Christians, just moderate religionists too, like even people in Islam, you know. The Jewish faith, I hear they don't really care. Apparently there's a lot of people that are openly atheist, and it's just far more of a cultural thing. Like no one cares if someone says they don't believe in God. Like, it's no big deal. But I know that's not really true, especially in the Islamic community, but, you know, in the Christian community too. It's a no-no, you know. Anyways, babbling. Yeah, so just thanks. I enjoyed this video. I thought it was very good, and your demeanor was very attractive in terms of your politeness and high degree of emotional intelligence, you know, which is cool. So that's a good example for me. Thanks.